The night was cold, and the ruins were silent. The human man walked slowly through the broken alien city, his boots crunching against the shattered ground. Once, this place had been filled with light and strange music, but now it was only shadows and dust. He had come here searching for answers, though he was not sure what kind of answers he wanted. All he knew was that something had pulled him here, something he could not explain. In the middle of the ruins, he saw a flicker of light. It was small, like a candle burning in the darkness. He followed it, careful but curious. The closer he came, the more he felt the air change thicker, heavier, almost alive. And then he saw her. The alien woman stood in the ruins, like she had always been there. Her eyes glowed faintly. Her skin shimmered like silver under the moonlight. She held a strange cup made of black stone, and inside it was a liquid that glowed like molten stars. When she looked at him, her gaze was sharp, almost cutting. But there was also sadness in her expression, a sorrow too heavy for words. "You should not be here," she said softly, her voice carrying like an echo. The man did not step back. Instead, he stared at the cup in her hands. "What is that?" he asked, his voice steady though his heart raced. The alien woman lowered her eyes to the glowing drink. "This is the drink of warriors," she said. "The forbidden gift of my people, the curse of my ancestors." She lifted the cup slightly, the liquid swirling with light that seemed to whisper secrets. "If you drink this, you will never be human again," she warned, her tone serious. The man frowned, his breath clouding in the cold night air. "Never human again?" He repeated. "Yes," she said, her silver eyes locking onto his. "It will change you, twist you, make you something more, but also something less." She took a deep breath, her hands trembling as if even holding the cup was dangerous. Every alien who has drunk this has lost themselves. Their body becomes strong, but their soul turns hollow. Their heart becomes a cage. The man listened carefully, yet there was no fear in his eyes, only curiosity. "Then why do you hold it?" he asked, tilting his head. Her lips tightened, her silence heavy, and for a long moment she did not answer. Finally, she whispered, "Because someone must guard it. Someone must keep others from making the same mistake." The man stepped closer, his shadow falling across hers. The air seemed to thrum as he drew near, like the glowing drink recognized him. He stared into the cup, watching the liquid pulse like a living heart. And then he smiled, a small, calm, but fearless smile. "You say it will take away my humanity," he said slowly. "But what if humanity is strong enough to survive it?" The alien woman's eyes widened, surprise flashing across her face. "No human has ever dared," she said sharply. "Your kind is not meant for this. It will burn you from the inside. It will destroy everything you are." But the man only laughed softly, shaking his head. "Maybe," he said, "or maybe this is why I came here." His words unsettled her, for she felt something different about him. There was no arrogance in his tone, no foolish pride. There was only determination, the kind of determination that frightened even her, the kind of courage that made her wonder if humans were far more dangerous than her people had ever believed. She held the cup tightly, as if deciding whether to snatch it away or let him take it. Her heart raced as she whispered one final warning. "If you drink this, there's no turning back. Your life will never be the same. You may save your kind, or you may doom them. You may become a hero, or you may become a monster." The human man reached out, his hands steady. He looked her directly in the eyes, and his voice was calm. "I am not afraid," he said, and before she could stop him, he took the cup from her hands. The liquid glowed brighter, as if it knew what was coming. The alien woman gasped, her lips parting in shock. "Wait," she cried, but it was too late. The man raised the cup to his lips. The glow lit up his face, casting him in silver light, and with one deep breath, he drank. The world seemed to stop. The ruins fell silent. The air froze. Even the stars above seemed to hold their breath. The alien woman stared at him, her heart pounding, her fear and awe mixing together, because no human had ever done this before. And now, for the first time in history, she was about to see what would happen when a man drank without fear. The drink burned inside him like fire. It spread through his throat, down his chest, and into every part of his body. The man dropped to his knees, gripping the stone ground as his veins lit up like threads of light under his skin. His heart pounded, faster and faster, like a drum of war. Every beat seemed to shake the ruins. Echoing through the cold night, the alien woman watched, in terror, her silver eyes wide. "No, no, this cannot be," she whispered, her voice breaking. She had seen others drink before, strong warriors of her people, and they had all collapsed in screams, their bodies twisting, their eyes turning hollow. But this man was not collapsing. He was enduring. His breath came in short gasps, steam rising from his lips. His fingers clawed at the ground, carving cracks into the stone. The glow of the drink pulsed through him, shifting from his chest to his arms, his legs, his face. His skin flickered between human flesh and something else, something alien. It was as if the drink was tearing him apart and remaking him at the same time. The alien woman stepped closer, torn between stopping him and simply watching. Her hands trembled, but her curiosity grew stronger than her fear. "What are you?" she whispered, more to herself than to him. The man groaned, lifting his head slowly, and his eyes snapped open. They glowed faintly, golden and bright, like twin suns. Burning from within, the woman gasped and took a step back. "No human has ever survived this," she said, her voice shaking. The man's breathing steadied, his body trembling but no longer breaking. He looked at his hands, and for the first time, he noticed the strange glow running through his veins like liquid fire. He clenched his fists, and the ground beneath him cracked even further. "This power," he whispered, his voice low, almost in disbelief. He stood, slowly, his posture straighter than before, his frame seeming taller, heavier, unshakable. The alien woman's heart raced as she saw what was happening. The drink was meant to hollow the soul, to erase the self, to turn the drinker into nothing but a weapon. But this man, he was still himself. She moved closer, her face tense. "You should not be alive," she said, her voice sharp but filled with awe. The man turned his glowing eyes toward her, calm and steady. "I feel alive," he replied, his voice deeper now, echoing strangely as if another tone layered beneath it. The sound made the air vibrate, made her feel both fear and respect. The ruins around them seemed to react. Old walls hummed, broken towers shivered, and even the ground beneath them pulsed, faintly with the same glow running through his body. It was as if the drink had awakened something ancient, not only in him but in the city itself. The alien woman's breath caught in her throat. "You are not supposed to exist," she said. "Softly, you are breaking the law of my people, the rule of the drink." The man tilted his head, studying her expression. "Then maybe the rule has finally changed," he said. He took a slow step toward her, the glow spreading with every movement. She felt her own chest tighten, as though she were standing before a storm that had taken human shape. Her instincts told her to run, but her heart told her to stay. The drink had turned her people into beasts, into soulless monsters who hunted without thought. But in him, she saw something different: courage, stubbornness, humanity. It was as if the drink had found a vessel strong enough to hold both power and soul. The woman whispered in disbelief, "You are the first." The man looked at his glowing hands again and smiled faintly. "Then I won't be the last," he said. But even as those words left his lips, his body shuddered violently. He staggered, gripping his chest as the glow surged brighter. The transformation was not finished, it was only beginning. His shadow stretched unnaturally across the ruins, long and twisted. The woman's breath caught as she realized the truth. The drink was not done with him. It was still carving, still molding, still testing, and though he stood strong, she knew the true battle was only starting inside him. Would his humanity hold, or would it break apart like all the others? She could not answer, and neither could he. The night grew heavier, the ruins darker. The alien woman stepped back, fear returning to her voice. "If you survive, the monsters will come," she warned. "They will feel your energy. They will smell the drink inside you. They will hunt you." The man's glowing eyes narrowed, his jaw set firm. "Then let them come," he said, his voice steady like stone. The woman's heart pounded in her chest as she stared at him. For the first time in her long life, she felt something she had forgotten her kind could feel: hope and fear, because this man, This human who drank without fear was now something far beyond human, and the universe itself would soon know it. The ruins were quiet again, but the silence did not feel safe. The man stood with his glowing veins still pulsing under his skin, his chest rising and falling as he tried to steady himself. The alien woman circled him slowly, her silver eyes studying every detail of his new form. She had seen warriors drink the forbidden liquid before, but never like this. He was not hollow, not empty, not a beast. He was something else entirely. "You should not be alive," she said at last, her voice low and unsteady. "You should not be standing here, speaking, breathing, still yourself." The man turned his head toward her, his golden eyes glowing faintly in the shadows. "Then tell me why," he said simply. "Tell me why I survived when no one else could." The alien woman hesitated, her lips parting but no words coming. Her hands trembled as she pressed them against her chest, as if holding back a weight too heavy to share. For a long moment, she said nothing, but her eyes betrayed the storm inside her. Finally, she spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. "Because this drink was never made for life, it was made for war." The man frowned, his brow tightening as he listened. She stepped closer, her face lit by the glow that radiated from him. "My people created it long ago, in an age of endless battles," she said. "We were losing, and in our desperation, we begged our ancestors to give us strength, to make us unstoppable." Her voice grew harder, bitter, as if every word cut her deeper. "They gave us this drink, the drink of warriors, the curse of my bloodline." She looked at the cup in her hands, still faintly glowing with the last drops of liquid. "At first, we believed it was salvation," she said. "Our warriors became faster, stronger, harder to kill." Her silver eyes grew dark with sorrow, but soon, the truth was clear. The drink took more than it gave. Her voice trembled as she continued. "It stripped us of our souls, it erased our hearts. We became weapons, but not people. Machines of destruction that knew only hunger for battle." The man listened quietly, his jaw tightening. "And yet you kept it," he said, his tone calm but sharp. The alien woman's lips pressed into a thin line. "Yes," she admitted, "because even in ruin, even in shame, my people could not let it go." Her hands shook as she lifted the cup slightly. "We swore to guard it, to keep it hidden, so no one else would fall to its curse." She stepped closer, her eyes fixed on him with something between awe and fear. "But you," she whispered, "you did not lose yourself. Your heart did not vanish. Your mind did not hollow. You are still you." Her words cracked with disbelief. "You are not supposed to exist." The man looked down at his glowing hands, flexing his fingers slowly. "I feel different," he admitted, "stronger. Yes, but not gone, not hollow." He raised his eyes to hers, his voice steady. "You said it was made for war," he said, "but maybe humanity is the difference." The alien woman froze at his words, her breath catching in her throat. Her people had tried for centuries to master the drink, but it always consumed them. And now, before her, stood a human unchanged at his core, yet transformed in body. "Humanity," she whispered, as if testing the word for the first time. "Perhaps your kind carries what mine has lost." Her gaze grew intense, her voice firm. "Listen to me," she said. "This is not only about you, this is about everything. If the cursed ones, the hollow warriors, discover you, they will hunt you. They will see you as both threat and prize." The man's golden eyes narrowed, his jaw set with calm strength. "Then let them come," he said quietly. "I will not run." The alien woman's heart pounded as she stared at him. Something inside her shifted, something she had buried long ago. She had believed her people doomed, their curse unbreakable, their sins eternal. But now, standing before this human, she felt something she had forgotten: hope. She stepped closer, lowering her voice. "There's more you must know," she whispered. "The drink is not only a curse, it is a key." The man raised an eyebrow, his glowing eyes steady on hers. "A key to what?" he asked. She glanced at the ruins around them, the broken towers, the buried temples. "A key to the vaults of my ancestors," she said, her tone heavy with meaning. "To secrets my people locked away, secrets that could save or destroy entire worlds." The air grew colder, the ruins darker, as if the city itself heard her words. The man clenched his fists, his heart steady despite the weight of what he had learned. "So the drink was never just about strength," he said. Her silver eyes glimmered in the faint glow. "No," she answered softly. "It was about control. It was about power. It was about creating gods from mortals." She looked at him, her face pale with fear and wonder. "And now, you are the first human to hold that power." The man's expression hardened, his voice firm. "Then I will use it not to destroy, but to protect," he said. But even as he spoke those words, the woman's gaze flickered with unease, because she knew the drink still whispered inside him. And no one, not even him, could predict how long he could resist its call. The night grew heavier, the silence too sharp. The man stood tall in the ruins, his glowing veins still pulsing faintly beneath his skin. The alien woman's words still echoed in his mind about the curse, about the key, about the vaults of her ancestors. But before he could ask more, a sound broke the stillness. A low growl, deep and unnatural, rumbling from the shadows. The woman froze, her eyes snapping toward the darkness. "No," she whispered, her voice laced with fear. The man turned his head, his golden eyes narrowing. "What is it?" he asked calmly, though the air itself felt heavier now. Her voice trembled as she answered. "The hollow ones, they have come, from the ruins beyond." Shadows began to shift. Shapes crawled out from the broken stone, moving like predators. On all fours, their bodies were twisted, their skin stretched thin over muscle and bone. Their eyes burned with empty light, hollow and endless. They looked like nightmares given form. The man took a step forward, his hand tightening into a fist. The alien woman grabbed his arm quickly, her grip firm. "You do not understand," she whispered urgently. "These are the failed ones, those who drank but lost their souls. They are endless hunger, endless rage. They cannot be reasoned with." The man met her gaze with calm fire in his golden eyes. "Then they can be fought," he said. The first of the hollow warriors let out a piercing scream. The sound cut through the night like broken metal scraping against stone. It leapt forward, its claws scraping across the ground. The man moved without thought, faster than he had ever moved before. His glowing fist struck the creature mid-leap, and it shattered into the dust of bone and ash. The alien woman gasped, her silver eyes wide. She had seen her people fall to these monsters countless times. Never had she seen one destroyed so easily. But her awe was cut short by the sound of more screeches. Dozens more hollow warriors crawled out of the ruins, their burning eyes fixed on the man. The ground shook as they approached, each step echoing like thunder. The man stood his ground, his chest rising steadily. His body glowed brighter as if answering the challenge. He turned his head slightly toward the woman, his voice calm but strong. "Stay behind me," he said. The first wave struck, claws and teeth flashing in the moonlight. The man moved like a storm, his strikes fast and merciless. Each punch shattered bone, each kick sent bodies crashing into broken walls. The ruins trembled with the force of his power, and yet, for every hollow warrior he destroyed, more came from the shadows. The alien woman backed against a broken pillar, her eyes wide with fear. She had warned him they were endless. They did not stop. They could not stop. But the human fought on, his movements tireless, his golden eyes blazing. The ground beneath him cracked with each strike, dust and ash filled the air, turning the ruins into a battlefield of fire and shadow. Still, the numbers pressed harder, their screeches filling the night. Claws raked across his arms. Teeth sank into his shoulder. He roared, pulling them off, his blood glowing as it spilled. Where it touched the ground, the stone cracked and pulsed. Even his wounds carried the same strange energy now. The alien woman clutched her chest, fear and awe tearing at her heart. "No human should be able to stand against this," she whispered. But the man did, his body burning with strength, his will unbroken. Every strike, every movement, carried something the hollow ones had lost long ago, courage. The hollow warriors shrieked louder, their frenzy growing. They were not only attacking, they were testing him. The alien woman's eyes widened as she realized the truth. "They know," she gasped. "They know you are different. They know you are not like them." Her words shook her, because she understood what it meant. If the hollow ones knew, then more would come. Not just a few dozen, not just a pack, but hundreds, maybe thousands, drawn to his light. The man crushed another monster beneath his fist, his chest heaving. With breath, he turned to her, his golden eyes burning with resolve. "Then let them all come," he said. "I will not fall." The ruins shook again, distant and deep. The alien woman's heart raced as she realized this was only the beginning. The hollow ones would not stop. They would never stop. And yet, watching him fight, watching him stand unbroken, she felt something she had not felt in centuries. Perhaps there was hope. Perhaps this human could stand against the curse of her people. Perhaps he was not only surviving, perhaps he was becoming the answer they had sought for generations. But as more shadows moved in the distance, louder and heavier than before, her hope twisted into fear, because if he was the answer, the entire galaxy would soon know, and nothing would ever be the same again. The ruins trembled as the night howled with screams. The hollow warriors poured out from every crack in the broken city, their bodies twisting like shadows given flesh, their burning eyes locked onto the human, drawn by the glow in his veins. The alien woman clutched the pillar tightly, her silver eyes wide. She had seen battles before, but never one like this. The man stood in the center of the broken square, his chest rising and falling, his body glowing like fire trapped under skin. He wiped the glowing blood from his arm, and it hissed as it touched the ground, leaving cracks of light that spread like veins across the stone. The hollow ones screeched and lunged, their claws slicing through the air. The man moved like lightning, his fist meeting the first with a bone-shattering strike. The creature exploded into ash, its scream echoing before vanishing into silence. Another leapt from behind, its claws reaching for his back. The man spun, his elbow smashing into its skull, the force blasting it into a crumbling wall. Stone shattered, dust rose, and the air thickened with the scent of burning energy. The alien woman covered her mouth, her heart pounding as she watched. Every movement of the man was sharper, faster, more brutal, but the hollow warriors did not stop. They swarmed, dozens turning into hundreds, their bodies crawling like a tide of hunger and rage. The man roared, his voice shaking the ruins, his eyes glowing brighter than the moon above. He smashed his fists into the ground, and cracks of light burst outward like rivers of fire. The earth itself trembled, splitting beneath the weight of his power. The creatures stumbled, their screeches faltering for the first time, but then they grew louder, more frenzied, as if the man's power only fed their hunger. They hurled themselves at him again, their claws tearing into his arms, their teeth sinking into his shoulder. The man gritted his teeth, blood glowing from his wounds. He seized one by the throat, lifting it high before crushing it into the earth. Each strike left fire in the air, sparks dancing from his fists as though the drink itself was alive inside him. The alien woman whispered through trembling lips, "He is not fighting like a man, he is fighting like the storm itself." Her people had once believed the drink created monsters, but this was something different. The human's will was stronger than the curse. His courage was bending the power to his command. Still, the cost was clear. His body shook under the strain, his muscles stretched, his veins burned brighter with every blow. The energy was too much for flesh, and yet he did not stop. His golden eyes burned with defiance, his voice thundering as he shouted, "I will not fall." The hollow warriors swarmed again, their numbers unending, their roars echoing like 1,000 storms. The man tore through them with fire in his fists, but for each he struck down, more climbed from the shadows. The ruins became a battlefield of blood and dust, light and darkness colliding in endless waves. Stone towers crumbled, the earth cracked open, glowing rivers spreading through the ground where his blood fell. The entire city seemed alive. Awakened by the fight, the alien woman felt the pulse of ancient power in the ruins. She clutched her chest, realizing what was happening. "The city responds to you," she whispered in awe. "Your blood is calling it back to life." Her words made her shiver, because if the city was awakening, then more than the hollow ones would rise. Old secrets, old weapons, old curses would return with it. The man did not hear her. His focus was on survival. A massive hollow warrior lunged, twice the size of the others, its claws sharp enough to cut stone. It roared, shaking the ground, and swung down with terrifying force. The man caught its arm, muscles burning, his golden eyes blazing. With a roar of his own, he twisted, snapping its limb like dry wood before driving his fist through its chest. The creature collapsed, dust exploding around them. The other hollow ones screeched in fury, swarming over their fallen kin. The man stood, chest heaving, his body drenched in glowing blood and sweat. His strength was terrifying, his will unbroken. But even he could feel the endless tide pressing against him. The alien woman stepped forward, her voice trembling. "You cannot fight forever," she warned. "They will drown you in numbers. Even you will break." The man glanced back at her, his jaw hard, his voice steady. "Then I will break standing," he said. And he charged into the swarm once more. The battlefield glowed brighter with every strike. The ruins shook as if the city itself was alive again. The alien woman fell to her knees, tears filling her eyes. She had not believed in hope for centuries. But now, watching this human, she whispered, maybe the curse has finally found its end." The hollow ones roared, their hunger unending, their rage unstoppable. The man roared back, his fists like fire, his spirit unbroken. The night burned with the clash of blood and light, and in that moment, the galaxy itself seemed to tremble, because a new legend was being written in the ruins. In fire and blood, the battlefield was quiet at last. The hollow warriors lay in dust and ash, their screams fading into the cold night. The man stood in the ruins, his chest rising and falling, his arms dripping with glowing blood. His fists still trembled, but not from fear, from the storm that still burned inside him. The alien woman watched from the shadows, her silver eyes wide, her breath unsteady. He looked down at his hands, the glow brighter than before. His veins pulsed like rivers of fire, crawling across his body. His reflection shone faintly in a broken shard of metal at his feet. The face staring back was his, yet not his. His eyes burned gold. His skin shimmered with strange patterns, almost like armor forming beneath the flesh. He touched his chest and felt the power within. It was no longer wild, it was alive, whispering, pushing, tempting. A voice without sound, a presence without shape. It told him he could do more, so much more, that he could burn worlds, move mountains, bend time itself. The alien woman stepped closer, her voice low and trembling. "You feel it, don't you?" she said. "The drink is not done with you." He turned toward her, his eyes glowing, his voice deeper than before. "Yes," he admitted. "It wants me to surrender, to let go of who I am." His words carried weight, like two voices speaking in one body. She shook her head, fear flashing in her expression. "That is how it begins," she whispered. "First the body, then the mind, then the soul. You will not even notice when it is gone." The man clenched his fists, his jaw tightening. "No," he said firmly. "I will not lose myself." But even as he spoke, his veins glowed brighter, the ground around his feet cracking with light. The alien woman stepped closer, desperation in her eyes. "Listen to me," she pleaded. "My people once thought the same. They believed they were strong enough to control it. But one by one they fell. Every warrior became hollow. Every leader became a monster." Her voice broke, trembling with old pain. "I watched my own brother drink. I watched him fight the change. I watched him promise he would remain himself." She whispered, tears shining in her eyes. But when the power called to him, he was gone. And all that was left was rage. The man's golden eyes softened for a moment, his voice quiet. "I am sorry," he said. The woman shook her head, her silver hair falling across her face. "Do not be sorry. Be careful," she said, "because now it is your choice." The man looked up at the sky, stars burning far above. He remembered his people, the warmth of their laughter, the fragility of their lives. He remembered why he had come this far, not for power, not for glory, but for something simple: to protect, to endure, to stand when others could not. That memory burned against the whisper inside him, the voice of the drink that begged him to abandon it all. His body shook as the two forces collided, human heart against alien curse. He dropped to one knee, gripping the ground, cracks of light spreading out from his hand. The ruins trembled. The air thickened. His breath came in ragged bursts. The alien woman reached for him but stopped, afraid her touch might shatter him. She could only whisper, "Fight it, please fight it." The man raised his head, sweat and blood glowing across his skin. His golden eyes blazed brighter than ever. "I will not be a monster," he growled. "I will not let this power own me." He forced himself to stand. Though every step felt like chains dragging him down, the whisper inside roared. But he roared louder. The alien woman gasped, her eyes widening. For the first time, she saw him push back against the drink itself, not by surrendering, not by feeding its hunger, but by standing as he was. His humanity was not fading, it was fighting, and in that moment, she realized something her people had never understood. The drink did not destroy because it was too strong. It destroyed because her people had lost what he still had. A reason to fight beyond themselves, a heart that remembered warmth, love, and loyalty. The human spirit was the missing key. The man steadied his breath, his glow dimming slightly, as his will forced it down. The ruins grew calmer, the cracks fading, the trembling earth stilled. He looked at the alien woman, his voice rough but steady. "I choose," he said, "to remain myself." The woman felt her heart tighten, her chest trembling with a strange feeling she had not known in centuries. But even as the words settled, a shadow stretched across the ruins. The air grew colder, heavier, like a storm gathering at the edges of the world. The alien woman's face paled, her silver eyes wide with fear. "They are coming," she whispered, "not just the hollow ones, but the true guardians of the vault. They will know what you are." The man clenched his fists, his golden eyes burning once again. "Then let them come," he said. The night answered with a distant roar, deeper than thunder, older than time. The choice had been made, but the battle was only beginning. The ruins were silent again. But it was not peace. The air itself felt heavy, trembling. With something vast and unseen, the man stood in the broken square, glowing faintly, his chest rising and falling. The alien woman stepped closer, her silver eyes filled with both fear and wonder. "You chose to remain yourself," she whispered. "But that choice has drawn the eyes of greater powers." From the horizon, a shadow stretched across the stars. The ground shook as if something enormous moved in the distance. The man lifted his head, his golden eyes glowing brighter. "What is it?" he asked, his voice calm but steady. The alien woman's lips trembled, her voice soft and filled with dread. "The guardians," she said, "the true children of the drink. Born not hollow but eternal. They were the keepers of the vault, the last defense of my people's secrets." Her hands tightened at her sides as her words spilled like broken glass. "They do not bleed. They do not tire. They are not like the hollow ones you faced. They are the curse perfected." The man clenched his fists, his heart steady. "That is my test," he said quietly. "The final one." The ground split open as massive figures rose from the ruins. They were taller than towers, their bodies armored in black stone, their eyes glowing with fire that had no soul. Each step they took made the earth shatter beneath their weight. The alien woman fell to her knees, tears filling her eyes. "No one has ever stood against them," she whispered, "not even the greatest of my kind." The man looked at her, his golden eyes burning with fire. "Then I will be the first," he said. The guardians roared, their voices shaking the sky, and the stars above flickered as if they feared the sound. The man stepped forward, his veins glowing brighter, his body trembling but unbroken. He raised his fists, his voice steady. "I am human," he said, "and I will not fall." The guardians charged, the ruins exploding under their weight. The man met them head-on, his fists colliding with their stone bodies, the impact splitting the earth with fire and light. The battle shook the city, walls crumbling, towers collapsing, the night alive with thunder. The alien woman shielded her face, her voice breaking into a cry. But when she looked again, she saw him still standing, his body cracked with glowing light, his arms bleeding fire, but his spirit unbroken. Every strike he gave was filled with something the guardians did not have, not just power, but purpose, not just strength, but heart. He remembered the warmth of human laughter, the fragility of their lives, the courage of their weakness. And with every memory, his strikes grew heavier, brighter, stronger. The guardians faltered, their stone bodies cracking, their soulless eyes dimming. The alien woman gasped, her heart pounding as she realized the truth. He was not fighting as a weapon, he was fighting as a man. With a final roar, he struck the last guardian. The ground shattered, fire and dust exploding into the night. The giant collapsed, its body crumbling into ash, its roar fading into silence. The ruins grew still again, trembling one last time before falling quiet. The man stood among the remains, his chest heaving, his body glowing like the last flame. In a dying world, the alien woman stepped toward him, her voice soft. "You did what no one else could." She whispered, "You stood where all others fell." The man turned his golden eyes toward her, his voice steady but heavy. "I stood because I chose to," he said, "not for power, not for glory, but for what makes us human." His words echoed through the ruins, settling like a promise. The alien woman's eyes filled with tears, her chest trembling. "For centuries I believed there was no hope," she said, "that the curse would always win, that nothing could resist it." She stepped closer, her voice breaking with awe. "But you are proof that humanity is the strength we lost." Her words carried not just sorrow, but hope. The man looked at the broken city round them, the cracks glowing faintly, the ruins humming with quiet life. He clenched his fists slowly, his golden eyes dimming as his body calmed. "The drink is inside me still," he said. "It will never leave. It whispers even now." The woman's face grew tense, fear flickering in her eyes. "But I will not let it own me," he continued, his voice steady. "I will carry it, control it, and if I must, I will fight it every day until my last breath." He turned toward her, his gaze firm. "Because being human is not about what power we hold, it is about what we choose." The words struck her heart like light breaking through shadow. The ruins fell silent once more, the stars above glowing brighter. The alien woman stepped beside him, her silver eyes soft. "Then you are not only human," she whispered, "you are the beginning of something new." The man breathed deeply, his glow fading but his will unbroken, and for the first time, the ruins felt alive, as if a legend had just been born. From that night onward, stories spread of a man who drank without fear, who stood against monsters and gods, who remained himself when all others fell. Humans whispered his name with pride, aliens with awe, enemies with fear. The one who proved that humanity could survive anything, even the curse of gods. And though the drink still whispered inside him, the world whispered louder. They whispered of the man who chose, the man who remained human, the man who became a legend.